What's up, everybody? I'm Elliott-Carter, and this is the Intellectual Controversy Podcast. Welcome back, everybody, to the Intellectual Controversy. I got a very great special show. This has been a long time coming. We've been talking about this episode for, about 2-3 months? Yeah. Yeah. And now we're here, finally. I really want a plan comes together. Let me introduce my two very beautiful guests. One is the love of my life. I love her so much. It is Tatiana Delaney Wilson.
Hello.
Welcome, baby. Give some. And over here, we have the notorious Kelsea. Now, if you spell her name wrong, she will stab you. Now, can you make sure I spell it right? K-E-L-S-E. Eyebrow went down.
Indeed.
I got it?
That is correct.
Man! Woo! My life.
My mom never wanted my name on any souvenir ever. It's okay.
Right?
Most people spell it wrong.
That was crazy.
I relate.
My middle name, I believe, is spelled wrong. You know, you can argue it's not spelled wrong. That's how your mother spelled it. But she was drugged up, and my middle name is Nathaniel, and she misplaced the I and the E, and she was I'm high, and she wrote it. And yeah, so I spell my middle name wrong sometimes. My own middle name. That is embarrassing. Yeah. So laugh all you want. Blame my mom. Blame mom. So let's get into it. First off, how you ladies been though? How's life treating you guys?
College stuff has been super, super stressful. Like, I've actually lost 5 pounds in the last 2 weeks dealing with all of it.
Dang, I'm sorry to hear that.
I don't know.
Don't let life stress you like that.
But yeah, I've got it all under wraps now.
I got you.
Everything's pretty lit now.
Hey, let me tell you something though. College and high school, it's a different experience. You know, you had your restrictions in high school. They're gonna embrace your freedom of speech and all that you got to the table in college. I promise you. What about you? How's life been for you?
It's life. I mean, just
It's
work.
life?
No, I said it's been life.
Oh, it's been.
Yeah, I've been working pretty much, and just got college stuff figured out. Just paid for everything, and that was stressful.
And they mess up your payment?
Yeah, so they were
Financial
charging me in-state and out-of-state fees. So both coast, for anybody who knows what they charge. They were like, yeah, you owe us $5,000, and I was like, psych. Exactly. So nope. Yeah, so I had to get that figured out. That was a struggle.
Yeah.
Yeah, everybody just pretty much left to go everywhere else but Panama City. So
Yeah.
I'm pretty much here. By
Yeah,
myself.
we were talking for a long time. I was like, I guarantee, if you want to leave, I'm happy for you. This place is a black hole.
I do.
Take that.
Just not yet.
Not yet, but she's got her options. You're gonna be in the medical field, right?
Yeah, nursing.
Well, what about you? What's your dreams and ambitions?
Oh Lord, I don't know. See, I wasn't really planning on going to college right out of high school. I was planning on just going into the military.
Ah, okay. What branch?
One, Army.
Oh. Right.
Yeah, my mother and my father were both in the Army, so it just kind of made sense. But I was doing that to pay for my education, and then I figured out that I got my IB diploma,
Oh.
which I would never, the past 4 years of my life have been collateral, damage control, trying to figure out what do I do with my life after I don't get my IB diploma. And then I got it, and I'm like, so my college is kind of already paid for now with bright futures. So I'm like, I guess I should,
take advantage
of the situation. And so I didn't do any of the preparations, thinking about college, thinking about what I want to study or anything. I didn't do any of the preparations. So that's why the past 2 weeks have been super, super stressful.
Right.
So I'm just kind of figuring out what I need to do to get my AA.
Mm-hmm.
And I have no idea after that. I'm just hoping the next 2 semesters I'll figure out what I want to do with my life.
I feel you. I tell you both, man. Don't try to plan it out. Just let it come to you. I tried to plan my life out, and it did not work that way. It didn't work that way at all. And now I'm here hosting a show in my mom's house. So, all right. So let's go on to some social issues. Okay. So if you've been hiding under a rock or just stuck in a Game of Thrones binge watch, you might not know what's going on in the world right now. So apparently it was a Friday night / Saturday day-ish. So there was an incident in Charlottesville, Virginia, where a bunch of nerdy, whack, college, all these grown adults that was like, you know what, I feel like white is the superior race, and I want to chant that out loud and march them the streets.
You see what white skin does in the sun? There's no way that's superior. Let's just, I'm gonna put that out there.
So anyways, that was pretty funny. That threw me off a little bit. So anyways, a lot of these neo-Nazis, white supremacists, the new thing I've been hearing the last couple of years is alt-right. I didn't even know. I thought that was like something on my keyboard. I didn't know what that was. So everybody's getting together like, you know what? White power. Let's tell the world that we're not ashamed to be white. And they got tiki torches from Home Depot.
Yes.
They're like, you know, chanting.
Luau.
Yeah, it's so confused. Are we having a luau or are we, lynching folks? So apparently a bunch of neo-Nazis and all that alt-right, all that nonsense got together and they wanted to protest the whole Robert E. Lee statue.
Getting taken down.
The participation trophy that they earned for the Civil War.
Damn snowflakes.
So what are your thoughts about this and the current state of America right now? Because that is just, wow. Okay. We've had our issues, but dang. Who wants to go first? Whoever.
Okay. So, like I said, like, multiple statuses on my Facebook, if, know about me. If
I'm
not,
subscribed.
Yeah. The fact that this day and age that Nazi is a term that I have to use regularly in talking about social issues is ridiculous.
Mm-hmm.
And the fact that the skin color that you are just so happen to be born into, you think by some God-given luck makes you so superior to somebody else. I'm like,
yeah.
Boy.
It's wild. You know what's crazy? I saw an interview with like an older neo-Nazi or alt-right, I don't know what. He seemed like an educational man. He was just at the end of the day dumb for believing what he did. But he said that our genuine concern is we're going to lose our race. We're going to be the minorities in this country. And I was like,
well, not be so.
What is like? This is America. It's a melting pot. What are you talking about?
Yeah.
I was so confused on that.
This is what America was founded on. It was founded on, freedom, liberty, and, sharing cultures.
Right.
Like,
a little bit of this, a little bit of that. Mm-hmm.
And that's what makes, what made the country great as what it was supposed to be. Like, idealistically, this country was supposed to be, this awesome place where we could all be each other or, and, like, live with each other or, go fuck off somewhere else. It doesn't really matter. You can do whatever you want.
Right. Everything you just said, that's exactly why I love this country. Like, don't take my criticism for things I say about this country as dislike or hate. I love this country. If you leave this country for like a week, you'll notice the difference. I left the country for about two or 3 weeks beginning of this year. And yeah, I love America. Like, it's a great privilege to be born on this. That doesn't give me any right of I'm better than anybody else. It's just a great country and it was founded on great principles, like you said. What are your thoughts on it?
I don't know. I just wish that people could move past like being so negative. Like, what does that give you? Like what do you get out of that?
Yeah, absolutely.
It's also kind of like stressful because like one of my friends just went up there. Mm-hmm. She's going to UVA, which is in Charlottesville, Virginia. So it's kind of stressful. She's like 20 minutes from where all this stuff is happening. And like someone just got killed because they, plowed a car into the
32-year-old woman, Heather. Higher.
Higher. I think. Yeah. And I was just like, it's just crazy.
Yeah, I saw that video too, and I refuse to watch it again. But like a guy was in a Charger, ran straight into a crowd, and then backed up. Like okay, I gotta get out of here. Well, I guess I'll go home now.
Exactly.
It's ridiculous.
And I wish that people would just like keep it real, like. As far as what this actually is.
Yes. Good point right there. I want to get into that.
She's about to bust.
Go ahead.
Let me tell you. Okay, I've had so many conversations, especially, when, I know this is not really on the same subject, but it's definitely, you can work it in. When the Black Lives Matter movement first came out, I was very iffy because, you know, I grew up in a semi-conservative white home.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm like, what is this? What does this mean? I'm a little concerned. And then I actually talked.
Same way.
I talked to people who supported the group. I read up on the group.
You did your research.
I did my research, you know, because everybody should do some research on anything like that's any kind of importance to society as a whole.
Right.
But anyways, and what I realized is that it's not, everybody understands, but it's not singling out, you know, black people as like we're the only ones that matter. It's like we matter too.
Yeah.
We matter too. And a lot of people was like, well, they wanted to turn a blind eye to what was going on and to what was happening to their fellow brethren. Like, no, racism doesn't exist anymore. No, we've progressed so far past this. I'm like, so you wanted to tell me that whatever just happened to Virginia didn't happen?
Right. Exactly. They put that Men in Black neuralizer on you. You know, it's crazy. What you just said about Black Lives Matter is kind of the same reason I was iffy about it as well, too. And I'm a black person. This is not a conservative home. This is an independent type home. But I think the only mistake with Black Lives Matter, because I do support the group, I understand it, I did my research as well. I think they should have made it clear, though, it was a 2 at the end. Yeah, I think that should have been like, because it is confusing if you say Black Lives Matter, and then other people are like, what do you mean? I'm Puerto Rican. Why does Black not matter? You know, I get the argument. So you gotta be patient with people when they ask you that, because it is not really a explained statement all the way. But I did my research as well. As to back to neo-Nazis and click alt-right and all that stuff. So, do you guys feel that America, or the government, does not treat these organizations, neo-Nazis, Klan members, as actual terrorists? They
don't. They don't. They always try to, when it comes down to it, they try to put it under the freedom of speech. Yeah. And their freedom to petition.
It's like white people can do no wrong.
Right?
Why?
So, yeah, I guess, like, what I would say to that, too, is, like, if a member of ISIS that's never killed anybody and does not have any, like, you know, a criminal record, but he's claiming ISIS, gets on a platform and starts saying, oh, death to America, I hate America, you guys will all fall, but he hasn't done anything wrong. Is that still freedom of speech?
No, see, it's the exact same thing.
Yeah.
Because it doesn't fall under freedom of speech because it's now incitement.
Absolutely. That's what they do.
It's incitement. Literally, if you are flying a swastika, a Nazi flag, that is literally a call to action, and you are signifying yourself with mass genocide.
Right.
That means that you want to bring death to any minority that doesn't fall within your, you know, superior Aryan race.
That's crazy. And it's so crazy that Germany doesn't even like that flag is banned in Germany.
Yeah, it's like
exactly.
That was their flag.
Germany did it right. It's like, wow, we fucked up. We're not going to pretend like it didn't happen.
Yeah.
But we're just going to.
It's part of history.
Yeah, it's part of history.
Yeah.
We're like, we fucked up. But we're not going to go back.
Yeah.
Apparently, America has this fixation on its history. It's like, we're so proud of this. Look what we did. I'm like, you're like a 5-year-old playing in its own mess.
You got any more thoughts on this situation? No. It's ridiculous.
I mean, we
turn the clocks back.
Honestly.
Yeah.
I just don't want to go on.
I really wouldn't want to either, but you know, we can. I hope we can all agree that Nazis are bad. But it's sometimes like I look at these Facebook comments, you're like, it's bad, but what about her emails? I call it that syndrome. Like, why are we talking about other things? Let's just all agree that Nazis are bad.
Yeah.
Nazis are bad. Hi Hitler. No. Low Hitler. Stop it. Cut it out.
We literally had a war about this.
Yeah.
Come on, World War II.
Right.
American soldiers went out and died
for this country.
Fighting Nazis, and yet you want to claim
ancestors.
Patriotism? Come on.
And I bet you a lot of those alt-right Nazi people had family members if they were born here.
I had family members.
Yeah.
Yeah,
crazy. I get you though. It's frustrating. Like you shouldn't have to explain that this is bad. It's like this is hot. This stove is hot. Don't touch it. People are just bam,
and then crying when they get burned.
Exactly, man. But in closing on that, I just please treat these if they are labeled terrorists, like in the terrorist watch list, all that stuff. Treat it like that. Don't give them a platform. Like treat a terrorist group like a terrorist group. Ridiculous. Anything else to say about that?
Nope.
I usually don't throw my cards like that, but I'm just so disgusted at it. I'm just gonna. All right, cool. Let's get a little light for a second. So usually on this show we've talked a lot about rap and R&B. I would like to know. I like to get into some rock. I have a little bit of rock on my playlist, but I would like to up in my playlist a little bit because rock is great. Everybody should love rock, man. You know, it's got a lot. Hip hop was founded on rock. You know, if you don't know your history. So you are very much into rock. I've seen some of your pictures where you're dancing. You know, moshing. That looked pretty cool. Me and her have had some conversations. She'll bring up rock sometimes. I'm like, yeah, I like Linkin Park. You just name all these rock, man. I mean, I'm interested in what she got to say. You know, so educate me, man. Who should I start downloading and listening to?
Okay, it really depends on like what your vibe is, because I'm also really into like what people would consider like heavier music. Like, I'm gonna shout out to a whole bunch of DIY local bands too in this, if that's fine.
Put them in there, go ahead.
Yeah. There's a local band called La Stravi. It's actually traditional black metal, and it's female fronted.
Okay.
And when I mean traditional, I mean like they do the whole face paint, like they're like...
Like Kiss.
No.
I'm sorry, I'm listening. Go ahead.
Not like this at all. I'm sorry, Morgan. If you see this, I am so sorry.
I'm sorry, Morgan.
I apologize to him. But
Should mention the Foo Fighters then.
I said a stupid statement off comment. They talking about a song. I was like, oh, Foo Fighters? Oh, go ahead.
And a lot of the lyrics are like questionable. Like it's definitely like more satanic, and like I know a lot of people aren't really into that. And I'm not saying I'm like, woo, I'm gonna go, you know, make a pentagram and summon Satan. I just really like the way it sounds.
Mm-hmm. It's art.
Yeah, it's art. I can appreciate the art behind it. Actually, when there's CDs, when I bought it, it was in my car and I played it over and over and over and over.
Mm-hmm. Well, that's the same type of stuff with hip hop. There's a lot of stuff that's like, you know, talking about what they've done. It's a reflection of self, I guess. And I'm not finna get an AK and, you know, shoot up a place and then grab 4 hoes and, you know, call it a day.
Snort cocaine off of
you know.
hooker's ass.
But, you know,
no, I'm not really about it.
But you know, I like to be. I'm understanding where you're coming from.
Like,
not my lane. I feel you.
Like, yeah, I'm it's like the same thing with like rap or hip hop or R&B or anything. You thrive off of the emotion behind it.
Absolutely.
Not really how they express it. I suppose.
Course. Ice Cube's a good example. I did not grow up in Compton, California, but he gave me a great picture of the visual of what goes on over there.
Yeah.
So.
But
so the La Stravi, if you're into heavier like black metal,
okay,
check them out. Another DIY local band, they're called Stuck in Place. One of my best friends.
It's a good name.
Yeah.
I like that.
Yeah, they're more of an indie like party rock type.
That's probably what I would look into.
Yeah, I would look into them. Actually, they have. I think they have a show coming up soon, but don't quote me.
If they do, send me.
I will.
I'll check
it out. Yeah.
I got you.
But to get away from DIY, I really like Incubus. I pulled them up earlier.
Mm-hmm.
It's because one of their albums, it's called Make Yourself. It's very politically driven.
Well, I like that too.
Yeah,
okay.
It's very politically driven, and like you don't really hear them screaming out, you know, like fuck the system, but you can kind of like get it from it. Like some of the lyrics is like, let me think of a song. It's like, to resist is to piss in the wind, and whoever does will end up smelling. Knowing this, why do I defy? Because my inner voice is yelling.
It's a good lyric.
Yeah.
Piss in the wind.
Yeah.
I like that.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's like, so that's they're very politically driven, and like they have such a cool sound that is so like personal to them. Like I have never seen another band that has quite come close to Incubus in the way they sound. I don't really know how else to describe them.
Okay. Incubus. All right. How about you, Taty?
As far as rock goes, like I'm not like super educated on rock.
I'm not either. I just like music, my guy.
Okay,
Just like music.
maybe educated isn't like the right one, but I'm not like completely immersed in it, maybe, or as immersed as you are. That's for sure. I can put if I had a lot of money. That's true. I definitely am more like into the hip hop ish.
See, I'm so dumb when it comes to hip hop.
Okay, so we're gonna have you on the show when we
talk
hip hop, right? So
I'll set that up.
I kind of pick like just like more popular like bands that pretty much everybody knows. Like one of my favorites is Pink Floyd.
Okay.
I
understood
love
that.
Pink Floyd.
I grew up with Pink Floyd because my dad.
I have the Wall vinyl.
You making Jordan happy over here. That's good.
Love that album. It's just so good.
And see, like
definitely one of my favorites.
Even Pink Floyd could be like making a statement. Definitely. And it's just so good. It's so genuine.
Without a doubt.
I miss music like that. Like instead of trying to conform, you basically like, I'm gonna make this message and I don't really give a fuck how anybody receives it. There you go.
Anyone else besides Floyd? Pink Floyd?
I put the Doors. They're a little lighter.
I've heard of them.
Yeah.
I mean, I can get into them, but that's getting into like
it's
a little more classic.
Yeah.
Okay.
Like,
it's not heavy.
It's not. It's not.
It's very, very light. Like
it's
like rock, you know. Exactly. Like, and this kind of like more of what I think was like more of like classic-y.
I like the Beatles.
Styles.
Yeah.
I love
the Beatles
Everybody
too.
loves the Beatles.
See,
You're a douche if you don't like the Beatles.
I think they have like a little bit more of maybe like a poppy sound.
The Beatles?
Than,
see, I like them. The problem I have with them is that they get like, I don't know, a lot of hype.
Who are the Doors or the Beatles?
The Beatles.
Oh, the Beatles. Okay.
See, I love them. Don't get me wrong. I love the Beatles so much. Like,
got to get controversial up in here.
I love the Beatles. My dad showed me the Beatles. Like, I listened to the Beatles with my dad and his dad, and like that was our pastime. Like, I grew up with them. But they are put on such a high pinnacle that I don't really understand.
Are you saying the Beatles might be a little bit overrated?
Slightly. I'm okay with getting ostracized for that. Again, I love the Beatles, but like, there were other bands. There were other bands in that time period that mattered so much.
Hey, with the Monkeys. I like that song. I'm sorry. But who in that time though? Because the only person I think is probably the Monkeys or the. My mom would probably know. That's her time, by the way. She loves the Beatles. I need to get me a good Beatles Bible. Simon and Garfunkel.
They are
the
dog. I love them.
Don't you have a vinyl of them? Or did we looked at one? Or
I do have a vinyl.
You do have a vinyl.
I've
do.
Never seen that. I do. They're like one of those bands that they're not even really. They're a duet, I guess. But like, you can just go home
a two-piece.
And you can just. It could be like a terrible day. And you can just sit there and listen to the vibe, and I'm like, it's just so like relaxing. I don't know. There's something about it. I just love it.
I gotcha. Anyone else on your list?
I said Fleetwood Mac.
I don't know.
Love them.
I love Fleetwood Mac.
There's another one Jordan got excited about. All right. Okay, well, I'm going to rewind this and check these bands out. You kind of got me.
Too, actually.
Oh, you did?
Yes.
I've never seen that one. You got me excited about that.
Shout out. Check out Pearl Jam.
Pearl Jam? I've heard of that.
Okay, so like, going back to like 90s grunge, where Nirvana got, this is another overhyped
I like Nirvana.
one. They're so overhyped. They're given so much credit that they really should not be given. Like during that time
the same thing, though.
Okay, I love Nirvana. Like, Dave Grohl's the love of my life and is my future ex-husband. He just doesn't know it yet.
She's single.
But see, there was something like Alice in Chains came out during. So good. Pearl Jam, so good. Like, there's so many other bands in that time period that like were. I'm gonna say it are like musically so much better than Nirvana. But like I love Nirvana. I love the angsty feel that you get from Nirvana, even though you can't understand it.
Stay away. That's joy.
Yeah. So, yeah, rant over.
Rant over. All right, thank you, ladies. I'm gonna try to get my rock going because I have a lot of Linkin Park. I got some Papa Roach. I got I got a lot of that commercial stuff that I liked. I was like, yeah, I could.
Middle school angsty
Yes.
teenage girl music. Linkin Park, Papa Roach.
Yeah.
Bring Me the Horizon. Why not?
Why not? Don't judge me.
3 Days Grace. Do you listen to 3 Days Grace?
I listen to Three Doors Down.
No, that's like the Nickelback of the 90s.
I didn't go there. Notice I didn't say Nickelback. I didn't go that far with it.
Do you like Nickelback?
No. Because I've never listened to it.
I always agree to hate Nickelback, even if we really don't even listen to them.
Alright, hands in the middle. Hands in the middle. Come on. No Nickelback! Alright. Alright, cool. Alright. Let's transition to something a little darker. So we're gonna get to the subject of euthanasia. If you don't know what that is, that's like death assistance. People might say suicide, but I would not label that suicide. It's when people like have like maybe a serious condition or disease and they just can't do it no more. They have to get like checked off to maybe get some pills to end the life. So what are your thoughts on euthanasia? Is it a good idea? Is it a bad idea? Let's argue both sides of that. What do you guys think?
Okay, when you bring up euthanasia, you always have to specify.
Mm-hmm.
It's broken down into 3 different parts. There's voluntary,
Mm-hmm.
non-voluntary, and then involuntary.
I'm glad you brought. I knew that. I'm glad you brought that up.
Yeah.
So the involuntary is like when you're in a vegetable state.
Yeah, non-voluntary is like basically you can't give your consent, but a family member speaks on your behalf, or you may possibly spoke about it before, like, dude, if I get to this point, just pull the plug.
Right.
And then involuntary, that's basically murder, and that's just not.
Yeah.
That's just like against your wishes, like completely. Like you voice like, no, don't kill me, and they're just like, nope, psych.
So I guess the most controversial one though is the one that
Would be non-voluntary.
the non-voluntary. So what are your thoughts on that? We'll start with you on this one. Because I know you're passionate about it. I wanted to hear you.
So, I feel like it's such a big topic.
I understand.
I'm thinking so many different things right now that I don't know where to start. To me, I feel like everyone should have their own say so. So I don't feel like it's anybody else's place to be able to say you can't make that choice if that's what you feel you need to do. Because we were talking earlier, and I said basically if you're going through something extremely debilitating, or it's just there's really no point in keeping this going, and you don't want to have to sit through this anymore. At the end of the day, there are other ways to end it. You have the ability to do that at any point in time in any amount of different ways.
Mm-hmm.
So I feel like if they genuinely feel like that, then who are we to stand in the way of giving them a more peaceful, or something that they feel might be more accepted, or they're more comfortable with going about it in that way?
Okay. I get what you're saying.
Yeah, I don't know.
What you're saying. So, because at the end of the day, you could just, if you want to end your life, you can just end your life. So what you're saying is, I guess, more of a respectful way, or a second opinion on the matter. What would you say, Kelsey?
Okay, so we're talking about voluntary. I can verbally give you consent. I don't see the point. There shouldn't even be any argument.
Yeah.
If I want to go, I want to go on my terms, when I say so, how I say so. I don't see that there should be any repercussions of that, because that's I can't remember what it's called, but there's been a couple cases where people have had terminal illnesses and they knew that they were going to deteriorate and die over time, and they're like, I want to die how I want to die, and I want it to be done soon, so I don't have to go through the agonizing pain. Like, say you have like cancer, I don't want to go through chemo. I don't want to put my family seeing me literally waste away. Like that. Maybe, like, if there were to be any kind of, like, steps to it, like, maybe a psych eval, I could understand that. And maybe, like, a time period of, like, waiting, that would be fine, too, to see if, like, it's not just a spur of the moment. Like, because, shit, we all make, like, decisions in the heat of the moment, and, like, when we're having, like, a really bad bout of, like, say, depression or anxiety or anything, like, I should most definitely know, like, I've made some crappy decisions when under certain amount of pressure. But again, voluntary euthanasia should be legal. Non-voluntary, say you have been. Are you close to your mom?
Very
close to your mom.
We're up in the house.
Yeah. Okay. So, say she, well, God forbid, gotten any illness, and that she's literally been in a vegetable state in a coma for like a month, and you know that it's irreversible. Would you want to keep wasting resources, time, money to keep her alive? Because you have to look at what is really alive at that point. Is this a quality of life that your mom would want anymore?
Right. Yeah, that's a tough one. You're absolutely right. I would not want to see my mom suffering. It's kind of making me tear up just thinking about it. So, but yeah, but at the end of the day, it would be tough. You don't want to be the one to be like, all right, mom, we're gonna end it. Yeah. I get what you're saying too. I'm gonna argue this a little bit though, because I was watching some other opinions on it, because I had my opinion on it, but I saw some other sides of it. The funding is just crazy. It's a lot of funding. Then you have to argue, like, what is the bar? Like, then anybody with, like, because there's a lot, mental illness is a very underrated issue in this country. What is the bar? If you have a mental, I kind of compared it a little bit to medical marijuana. Like, people like, oh man, I scraped my toe. Can I get a subscription? Some weed?
Yeah. What?
Yeah. So, like, do you think that would ever happen with that? Like, oh man, I'm depressed. Can I get a subscription to kill myself? I don't want it to ever be like that. I don't think it would, but do you think there's a line that would be crossed?
I don't.
Need some weed?
Well, never mind. But I don't think making it so readily available would actually. No, it wouldn't even be readily available, because again, like, is any medical treatment super readily available already? No, it's not. And putting it out into the world, like, hey, this is now an option, like, I really don't think that's, like, people who are against marijuana, now that it's, like, medically available, they're still against marijuana.
That's what I said to her about meth. If meth is legal tomorrow, none of us are gonna be like, oh, end of the show, let's get some meth. We're gonna.
No.
Yeah.
And
that's wrong drug, but whatever. Who cares?
That's how much you don't do meth. You're just like, hey, meth?
Sorry, I'm stupid.
Sorry, I'm ignorant about meth. So, but another other argument though was dang, I forgot what it was. I remember funding was one, and where's the bar? Do you remember what the other argument was?
About funding. I'm gonna go back to that for a second.
Go ahead.
So, like, funding. It's not as much like the funding in order to do euthanasia that's like the problem, because like that's a lot cheaper than it is to do a lot of the other stuff.
Life support. Life support is so expensive.
That's true.
So like, it's more about the fact that like, I think like that video specifically, like he was just talking about kind of like, well, if you make euthanasia like available to people, and especially like in like the political world, they're gonna be a lot more like inclined to be like, well, like here's my way out of this instead of having to pay for all of this, and like we're gonna forget about finding cures for things, and like we're gonna be like shying away from the importance of finding treatment, which is that's kind of like the more like funding issue, I think.
Okay.
Yes. Yeah.
I got you.
There's
So,
not going to be money in order to make things better versus just end it, you know?
I got you. It's a controversial subject. I flip flopped on. I actually took ethics. When you mentioned that, I was like, it brought back, like, that was one of my favorite classes I ever had, and it brought back memories of that. And thank you for bringing it up because I think it's an issue not brought up a lot.
We took a class called TOK, and I did one of my presentations on this, and I'm very passionate about, God, I can't even remember what it's called. I'm going to say respectful or death.
Right.
I can't really remember if that's what it's called or not. But that's what the case was called. And it summarizes basically, I want to die respectfully and, with pride. I don't want to be wasted away where it's not even me anymore. Which I can get behind that. What I don't want to get behind is rash decisions. Because, well, you've had a shitty day, you've had a shitty life, suicide starts to look really great. And, that looks like an out. I should know, I've attempted suicide before. And I couldn't tell you how many times it's just been in the back of my head, all through high school. High school was so hard for me. I was so stressed all the time. My anxiety was ridiculous. My depression was ridiculous. And it was just a rough time, to be coming of age.
I'm sorry.
And dealing with everything that entails. And just realizing that I've got to get my shit together for a life that I'm not even prepared for yet.
Right.
Suicide looked like the better option. I never really thought that I was going to make it to my graduation. When in high school, I never thought I'd live to see myself walk across the stage. And oh god,
take your time. Okay.
But the fact that I'm here now. And it's not something that just went away.
Definitely not.
It's still in the back of my head. When I was dealing with college, it's I could just end it and I wouldn't have to deal with this anymore. But see, those are all very rash, in the moment, emotionally fueled decisions.
Of course.
That no sane person should be able to be given that out just because they're that emotional. And see, that's the problem that I would have, is if people if you didn't undergo a psych eval for this, or if you have a history of depression, or any mental illness that it affects you, as mine does, I guess, or as anybody's does, really. There is, of course, gray areas, there always will be, but
absolutely. I think we're all in agreement that we're glad you're still here, and that's very brave of you to say all that. That's amazing. I'm very impressed. It took me a while until you can talk about I've had those thoughts. I've had those thoughts many times, and my father actually did commit suicide when I was 8 years old, and it's a very touchy subject for me. And for a while, I was on that train where I was that's a selfish thing for somebody to do. You're automatically going to hell. I was always on that train until so I grew up a little bit and thought about it. I wouldn't say it's 100% a brave move, but it takes a lot for somebody to get to that. It's not. Don't think that's not what somebody wants to do. That's literally their last.
It's not just one thing that sets you off. Oh well, this happened. It's a build up.
Absolutely.
And there's so many other things that you're thinking about. You're not just thinking about yourself. You're thinking about everybody else too.
You're
of course. Thinking about
my biggest thing,
your parents and
my biggest thing when I was in high school was I'm not doing what I should be doing. I feel I am the biggest disappointment on this earth right now. I could be doing so much better, but I just can't for some reason. I can't rise above whatever this is. I did really shitty my freshman and sophomore year going into IB for the first time. I got my first D on a report card. And
screw IB.
Fuck IB. Don't.
No, don't.
Don't do that. Like, I feel like it prepared me for college, but dude, going through it, like, I don't even know if like the mental stress I was put under was totally worth it. So,
that's the thing with that.
Yeah.
It's like it does help you, but which one matters more?
Yeah, does my mental health matter more, or the possibility that it's gonna, further me in my adult life?
At the end of the day, man, it's about yourself.
Yeah.
You gotta take care of yourself.
And I still feel like you came out on top, so.
No, she didn't even, she left IB, 2 years,
I tried.
She tried. She definitely.
For about a year and a half.
My mom wouldn't let me get out.
I straight up told her.
It was a struggle, and it wasn't even my parents, that did that. It was
the school.
other people.
And
stuff. So, but
I said it's not worth losing
and
yourself.
finally, I was just like, I really can't handle like the stress and like the anxiety and like all the stuff that I'm feeling because of this. Like it just.
Dude. Like I was at that point, but this is what happens. She got out, and like you are like I'm probably making assumptions, but you felt like so much better once you got out. Like you feel like, wow, I don't have this impending doom of like IB anymore.
Lighter, huh?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
And then I stayed in.
Uh-oh.
I'm now in therapy for like, I go every other Monday. Shout out to Miss Stephanie Dutton. She is honestly like, I want to say the love of my life, but like not really. She has helped me so much.
Shout out, man. Great, honestly, therapy is a great thing. I wish, more people would be more open to talk about, therapy.
Yeah, the fact that, like, so many people, like, oh, you go to therapy, you have issues. I'm like, yeah, I got fucking issues. I'm trying to fix them.
I went to, when I was in IB, like, I had, like, a lot of, like physical, like, it was starting to affect me physically because I was having so much, like, stress and anxiety from it. And so, like, I finally, like, went to the doctor and all this stuff, and, like, I remember her, like, talking to me, and, like, she was like, well, you have 2 options. You can do medicine, which I didn't really want to do. Like, I didn't want to, like, get on that, like, become dependent on that.
Yeah.
Which happens a lot.
That could bring
and I really didn't want to do that. I was like, that's, like, my last resort.
Right.
So, and she was like, your other option is to do therapy. Right. And, like, she was just like, you don't even have to tell anybody that you're like going. Like that's a you thing. But she was like, I know that it's a very like, it's a weird like it's a stigma, Yeah,
there's a stigma on it that I don't quite understand. Just because not everybody is as peachy as you are 24/7.
Right.
Exactly.
I want to talk about my issues, get them on my chest, because if I keep them to myself, I will implode.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
But with you though, like, it's just me. I would prefer having a friendship with someone like you because I know what I'm getting with you.
Yeah.
With that peachy smiley, hey, how you doing? Great. Hey, did you have pickles today? I love it. Someone's just so weird like that. You are hiding something, and you are a serial killer, and you need therapy. So,
He's like, hi, how are you? Huh. Fuck you. But not really. I'm very upfront, I'm sorry.
Yeah, definitely. That's why you're on the intellectual controversy. But yeah, I like my people up front, though. I don't like that fake smiling, and when you can tell someone's genuinely just doing all that, it's just like, don't do that with me. Come on. I'm a genuinely nice person, too, but I'm not gonna give you no big daps and smiles. Let's move on.
Yeah, no, I've been known for my resting bitch face. Like, people come up and say, Kelsey, how you feeling? I'm like, dude, I'm fine. This is just my face. Like, let's keep going.
Dude, I'm fine. This is just my face.
I've heard people have said, like, oh, like, you look like you're really mean.
Pissed. Like, yeah, people
like,
are like, dude, I thought.
And I'm like, why? I'm like, people, like, other people over here, and they're like,
people are
so nice. Like, I'm genuinely a nice person. I swear, I'm not like a jerk off. Like, I swear.
You are.
And they're like, your face just looks, like, you just look
like,
like,
dude, I thought you were like, you were so intimidating. You're such a bitch. Like, you understand? I am 5 foot tall. I am a small female.
Hey man, those are the craziest ones.
You're not wrong. My family's full of them.
Real. But seriously, again, I'm glad you're still here, and I'm glad you shared that story. And let that be an inspiration. Don't be afraid of anything. If you need someone to talk to, too, we got outlets. Just holler at me. All right, we got 2 more subjects. next one, I want to know, because you're very passionate about this, and we've talked about this a little bit, and I've actually taken a class. I don't know, I don't want to make that look like I know everything, because I don't, because I am not a woman, so I can't speak for a woman. But I did take a women's studies class, and it was very liberal and feminist in there. I would like to know, what is the misconceptions of feminism that you guys want to know?
I'm a feminazi. Goddamn.
Whoa.
Nice.
That's the one that really grates on my nerves. That's like, oh, so you're like pro women. I'm like, yeah, I'm pro women.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, so you think that like females are superior? Like, no, that's not what feminism is.
Exactly.
I don't really.
It's not just about.
It's about
It's
equality.
about everybody.
It's equality.
It's about equality, okay?
Yeah, that's the biggest misconception that really just grinds my gears.
So there is a lot of even I had a misconception of it. There was some times I was just like, I don't get it either. I took this, like I said, I took this women's studies class. The whole time we were learning about like equality and stuff like that. And at the end of the day, like, I just didn't understand the psychology of women. And as a man, I should not try because I'm never going to win it. But after learning so much about women's history, women's rights, and stuff like that, I was like, after learning this knowledge, I do not understand sometimes why they act certain ways. Not all, of course. Like, for example, I couldn't understand how a woman could be racist after dealing with the same struggles. I was just like, I don't get that. I couldn't understand how women can be at the club just being, all out there, but they want respect. I was just like, I was so confused about that.
Oh no, the eyebrow.
The eyebrow, that's why we're here. Let me have it.
Okay, getting on that subject, because honestly, I don't really care about how much skin I'm showing.
That's definitely not what I was talking about, though.
Being all out there, or are you talking about sexual promiscuity?
As in walking up to me, grabbing my genitals, and then walking off.
Okay,
That's what I'm talking about.
Okay,
Yeah. I'm not talking about the way you dress. No, being all out there as in all on somebody, but then like, don't touch me, but I could touch you. I was just like,
I'm still stuck on that word, promiscuous. Is that a word?
promiscuous girl. I like Fergie.
That was
Promiscuous
not Fergie.
girl. That's not Fergie.
Nelly Furtado.
No.
And Timberland. I'm sorry.
Sir.
I'm sorry. Go on.
Apologize for that entire.
I apologize, Timberland and Nelly Furtado, and Fergalicious definitions. But yeah, that's what I definitely wasn't talking about the way they dress. I care less about that. It's just the way, it's the mannerism sometimes when a woman's all over a man, but if a man does the same thing, he's,
Okay, see, like, I agree
it's
with
sexual
you.
harassment,
Yeah, there is a double standard there there's a double standard there that I don't agree with, and I think is stupid.
Mm-hmm.
And people are like, but you're a feminist, right? I'm like, you understand that feminism is, like, it covers all gender issues.
Yeah.
If this is an issue that deals with, like, gender norms, it's a feminist issue. Like, I don't care if it has to do with vaginas or dicks. It's still a feminist issue. Sorry, I kind of just said it like that, but whatever. But, like, if a woman wants to go, like, harass a man, grab him, and then wants to turn tail and then cry when a man grabs her, that's being super, super hypocritical. And like, society sees it okay when a woman goes after a man that way, but not the other way around.
Huge example on that. Lately, there's been a boom of women having women teachers having sex with students. The titles are "Hot Teacher Gets Caught Having Sex with a Student."
Yeah.
Reflect those genders. Hot guy has sex with female student.
There would be an uproar.
Oh yeah, get those tiki torches back out. Let's go on for round
Hey,
2.
Home Depot, shut up.
They're making a killing. But yeah, I saw that. I was just, it's so crazy how society is like that. But that's my confusion about it, though. Like, and I'm glad you acknowledged that.
That's an issue, and it all has to do with self-entitlement and a victim, like, persona. Like, I can't do anything wrong because society picks on me, but you want to go around and do the exact same thing that you are totally against. No, that's not how this works. Please stop being an idiot.
The way you did that punchline had me laughing.
Yeah.
That's not how this works. Stop being an idiot.
Honestly. I mean,
I'm sorry. Did you have anything?
To me, I mean, like, obviously, like, feminism is about, like, women and, like, you know, like, the empowerment and all of that, but, and I think that people can take that way too far sometimes.
Yeah,
I'm not going to deny
there's extremists in
definitely
everything.
There's definitely extremists.
Absolutely.
And I think that with the same thing with Black Lives Matter, the
Exactly.
extremists make them look bad.
Yeah.
They see that.
Militants and extremists
And-
aren't the face of the actual.
Yeah, and that's where you have to, like, do your research, and you have to look into it and figure out, like, what it's really
No,
about.
Taty, I saw Fox News for 5
So,
minutes.
we're not going to talk about Fox News right now, so...
I know exactly what we're talking about. Women wearing vagina hats and marching in DC.
Yeah, right?
That's the entire feminist movement.
Yeah.
That's all that it is. Case in point.
Yeah, to me, it's about, like, it's about now, it's about, like, the past, it's about men, it's about women, it's about everybody,
Yes.
and, like, it's important to actually acknowledge that, and I think that some people, like, don't pay attention to that, even though it's there. They just, like, they just don't see it, you know, like, why? Because it's definitely there. You just have to, like, actually be looking for it and, like, pay attention to it. And as far as, like, when it comes down to, like, the men issue and stuff, like, I feel genuinely bad when it comes to men, just because of the fact that, like, they are for men, because when you think about any sort of, like, emotional time that they might be going through, whether it's, like, sexual assault or harassment or, like, self-expression for, like,
Be a man up.
yeah, like, I hate
No.
that. Like,
Very, very
like, no.
underrated issue.
I mean,
Act like
we're
you got a
human-
pair. That's something that was said a lot.
We're human
Yeah.
beings. Like, we have emotions. We
Of
have
course.
things that we go through, and, like, there should be at no point should there ever be a time where we, like, tell them to, like, not feel a certain, like, feel how they feel.
Absolutely.
That is something that drives me crazy. Like, I remember being, like, with people, and someone was feeling a certain way, like, they're getting really, really anxious, and they're like, oh, just calm down, oh, just relax, oh, it's not a big deal, and I was like, I swear if you don't shut the, like, I was so, like, that
You don't
genuinely made me
understand
upset,
that's
because
not how
that
it
night, like,
works.
we were in the middle of a lot of people, and so I that night was feeling extremely anxious. I was getting really, really frustrated and, like, getting upset, and I thought I was about to lose my mind that night. And my friend started feeling that way, and I was just like, don't tell her how to feel. Like, she's going through something right now, and just because you don't understand it doesn't mean that you have the authority to tell her, oh, you know.
Taty dropping bars. And
Oh, man,
yeah.
it still makes me mad, and
I
that
feel
was
you.
months ago.
I feel you.
So, I just, that.
And, like, backtracking a little bit, like, with the emotions aren't ascribed to a gender.
Absolutely.
Like, people see females as, like, oh, she's so emotional, and then you look at a guy as, like, oh, he's so...
You know, it's crazy,
Stone
and
cold.
both of y'all are right. Like, as men, we are trained like this as children. Like, you know, oh,
Yeah.
don't cry, you're a big boy, and stuff
Yeah,
like
don't
that.
cry.
I even have, I do it with my son sometimes. I have to stop myself. She even stopped me one time, like, oh, you're doing what you tell you're not going to do. And I was like, you know, I'm just so, like, trained to do that.
Yeah.
'Cause it's
I don't
like-
want to be like that. He should be able to share his emotions. you know?
Absolutely.
I don't have
I
a
mean,
problem with that.
With all kids, I think that there's a point where you can be like, okay, like, this isn't worth crying about. You know?
Of course.
I'm
Yeah,
so
it's
sorry.
overdoing
No,
it.
Yeah, like, you stub your toe, you're crying 30 minutes
Yeah.
later. Get the fuck over your
It has nothing to do with boy or girl. It just,
No, they're just like,
That's
stop being
all
such a
kids
little
in general. Like,
Yeah.
don't just let them become a crybaby, because at some point they're gonna grow up and then they're gonna cry about everything, and everyone's not.
41 years
no one's
old.
gonna be around them.
on my cell phone bill.
Let's keep it real.
$200. I can't do it.
They're gonna always be living in your house, and you're gonna be like, dang, I should have told him to suck it up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, of course there's a line, but when it comes to, like, yeah, I think boys get targeted so much
Yeah.
at the time
Yeah.
happen to be there.
I just like some of the things like honestly I hate it. I used to work with little kids like when I went to church and stuff like that, and you could see that they like some of the parents sometimes like the way they like talk to their children. I'm like,
and you can't tell a parent what to do.
I know, and I'm
feel
like,
you,
so
though.
you like, I'm like, you really want to force this on your child?
Right.
Like, a little boy, like, this is just, like, picks up a doll, wants to play with it, and you're like, you snatch it out of his hands, and you put a truck in his hands, or you put, like, I don't know, a transformer in his hands. Was like, because this is the way it's supposed to be. And I'm like, does it really matter? Are you really giving toys a gender?
Ooh.
I don't. God, there are so many things that I wish.
Good subject right there.
Yeah, like there's so many things, and like the gender norms, because this is a feminist issue as well. Gender norms are instilled on small children and enforced like all through their life, and so when they get to be adults and they see all this going around them, they're just so lost. They don't know what to do. Like I have a guy friend of mine who's like super struggles with showing any kind of emotion because his father was, you know,
emotionally abusive.
Yeah,
or something.
yeah, like
see it all the time.
his father was in the military. He was a very like strict, no shit type deal. Like, I understand that, but the fact that you want to like suppress like any outward showing of emotion in your children, like, that just is the making of a shitty person.
Yeah.
Like,
and it sucks. You can't tell someone how to be a parent. You know, that's an opinion based subject. Do you have anything else to say about this? I'll say this before we move on to the last thing. Sorry. Like I said, I am not a female, and there's some things I still have questions about, maybe, but for the most part, I think I get it, and I'm not going to be scared to ask a woman a question or a
always
female.
ask.
So, yes, just like anything in life, if you have confusion about another race or another religion or another political side, don't be scared.
Or sexuality.
If you get it,
it's always better to ask than just say something stupid and then get cursed out for it later.
Absolutely.
Ask questions.
Exactly. Don't have this mindset about you know everything, because I just admitted I don't know everything. I really, that's why I ask these women, because they can speak for them. I'm a man. I can't. I got different tools. All right, last question. Okay, so back to, the beginning of this. We talked about neo-Nazis and all click delete people. How would you guys make this world a better place? Because right now it's getting crazy. You got North Korea and us might start to have a war. We got Nazis walking around and, Pokemon Go players. And we talked about, what was that band you didn't like? We all decided no.
Nickelback.
We got Nickelback around, still alive. So how would you make this world a better place?
Wow.
So are you talking locally, global scale?
Let's start here in America, because you know what, a lot of people, because I've been out the country, like I said, they're making fun of us, they're laughing, they're confused, they're worried for us, and that's new. Most people usually looked up to us. So let me know, what should we do here in America? We'll keep it here in America.
Stop thinking that we're the greatest fucking country. The idealistic picture that we have of America, we're leading the world, we're so advanced. Mm-hmm. We suck. The only things that we are actually, I think, leading in is infant mortality rate.
Infant mortality rate.
Yes. Thank you.
We're winning in the mass incarceration too. Yeah, we're kicking butt on that.
And honestly, we're not as great as all of the politicians try to let's make America great again. When were we great?
Oh, of course, 1940s when they had separate bathrooms.
Oh, yes. When I could go to a water fountain and he couldn't go to the same one behind me.
Right.
No, I'm just get your head out of your ass, realize, look around what's going on, and stop being such a sheep. I'm so tired of it. Do your own fucking research.
So please. Educate
yourself and open your eyes, and please, for the love of God, just because you don't want something to be true, don't adamantly deny it.
Yeah. Well, if I don't like it, it's fake news, right?
Yeah. Fake news.
All right. Yes. Exactly. Yeah. You can't go la 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 la. It's not real. It is what it is. Accept reality,
we don't
please.
always have to be right.
So accept reality and please do research and education. That's where you would make America a better place. How about you?
So I feel like this like goes for America, of course, but like this is like the world in general.
Go for it. Yeah.
I wouldn't necessarily like take away ignorance because like that's like a.
It's always gonna be here.
That's
That's a human thing.
Exactly.
Well, yeah, I mean, you said like, how would you like? I don't know. That was just like a if I could, but
Okay, go ahead.
not that I would like get rid of ignorance because like that's like a teaching moment, you know. Like there's a lot there's a lot of growing, you know. Yeah, so you can fix that, but I think that if I could do anything to make things better, it would be to take away people's ignorance about their ignorance.
Ah.
So the fact that like they just either really genuinely don't notice the fact that whatever it is that they're feeling or saying is stupid, or uneducated.
I think you're trying to say like give them a great mirror view of what they're saying.
Yeah, like just. I don't know, just get rid of like the stupidity about the fact that like they're being. I don't know. I don't know how to say what I'm saying. So just
be more self-aware.
Yeah.
Be more self-aware. Okay.
I guess.
Exactly. Yeah. Oh, start with yourself. Start with the man in the mirror.
True that.
Gotcha. Okay.
MJ
cool.
had it right.
Yeah. MJ had it right. Yeah. Michael Jackson. I understood that reference. I love him. So yeah, I agree with you guys. I would say, you know, start calling things what they are. Neo-Nazis are terrorists. Equal rights for everybody, and it's not just, you know, not just for a certain race, not for a certain gender. Everything equal. Ignorance, of course, is not going to leave us, but let's be ignorant about other stuff.
Like be willing to
learn.
Be willing to like acknowledge that, like, wow, I sucked. Let's work on it.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I sucked. I still suck sometimes.
You saying?
Yeah. So, hey, never think you know everything. Be willing to learn something from somebody you don't know or definitely don't agree with or don't look like.
Ooh,
all that stuff.
So another thing, like,
what's that?
So, I think it's something that we've like definitely like.
And more Star Wars. Sorry, love you, sure.
True that.
And more Star Wars in your life. You can learn a lot about diversity from Star Wars and Star Trek. But go ahead.
Okay, so anytime like that we bring something up, I feel like we, at least over here in America, because I've never been anywhere else to know, we bring something up and we're like, okay, cool, like this is a problem, and people are just like immediately like ready to jump off about it because they disagree with it.
Well, you know what the problem is? It's Hillary's emails. Oh, it's that Donald Trump. He's just a fascist. Oh no, it's the Black Lives Matter people. No, it's those stupid feminism with their ideology. No, it's the Nickelback. It's Nickelback.
Nickelback is the root of all issues.
True.
That's the name of the pod. Nickelback.
That's what we need to do. Make the world a better place. Just
the root of all evil is
Nickelback. No more Nickelback.
Alright, thank you ladies again for this podcast. Thank you again. Where can we find you guys? You want to plug anything or you just want to be like, nah?
Dude, I am so social media inept. Like, I have a Facebook, Kelsea Ivy Norris, Kelsea Ivy Norris.
She's got some great posts, man.
Yeah.
You know, I
aside from like shit posting memes, like I do that sometimes. But like I do have intellectual debates with people on my on my page. A lot of it's emotionally filled. Like I'm very passionate about what I'm saying, and I feel like that gives my argument more meaning because if I believe what I'm saying, I feel like it's heavier. Like it carries more meaning if you can tell that I'm extremely passionate about it.
Talk.
Cool. And you know, if you were looking, you can find her on my page. We might be working on something with YouTube, maybe not. You know, we'll figure that out. But if you look at her a certain way, stop. All right, everybody. Thank you again for watching Intellectual Cons first. Please subscribe, like, comment, share, all that stuff. Let me know how you feel about this episode. Thank you guys again. Peace.